What we reported earlier today is that the FTC voted this week to approve a roughly $5 billion settlement with Facebook. And this is over a really long-running probe that the FTC has had into the tech giant's privacy missteps that, like you mentioned, all stem from Cambridge Analytica. And it was a 3-2 vote by the FTC commissioners, and that broke along party lines. So the Republican majority lined up to support it, while the Democratic commissioners objected, which is our understanding.
How much swing was there in that $5 billion figure? Any reporting on whether or not it could have been a lot bigger?
That's a good question, Wilfred. I think what we know is that Facebook said back on April 24th that it was expecting to pay up to $5 billion to settle the probe. And that was after there had been reports for weeks that it could be a couple $billion. So all of a sudden it came out with a much higher figure. We don't really know too much more about how things went down in terms of the figure, but $5 billion is a record for the FTC by quite a bit. It actually goes back to a Google settlement in 2012 that FTC had an order for $22.5 million. So this is, by leaps and bounds, a massive record for the FTC.
What about this notion that you're reporting that it was a party line decision? Does that mean Republicans are going to be looked at as not being tough enough on Facebook and on some of these privacy concerns?
That's definitely something that could come up. I mean, it's been a long-awaited multi-billion-dollar settlement between Facebook and the FTC, and what we've been reporting is that part of the holdup was that the Democrats were not keen to settle and the Republicans did want to. Our understanding even months ago is that the Republican chairman, Joseph Simons, had struggled to win support for the deal from at least two of the panel's Democrats, that's Rebecca Kelly Slaughter and Rohit Chopra, and that those folks were concerned the settlement won't be tough enough. So there definitely was a lot of political and partisan, wrangling going on here. But in the end, they did get that 3-2 majority from the Republicans.
So how do you think this sets up Congress and Facebook and some of these other social companies ahead of next week's congressional hearings?
It's a great question. I think what we know right now is that there's just been so much of a huge spotlight in D.C. On tech, and whether or not there's enough scrutiny of firms like Facebook and others of their competitive practices, their privacy practices. We also know that the Justice Department is gearing up for an antitrust probe of Google and also has authority to look into Apple. And the FTC has taken jurisdiction for possible antitrust probes of Facebook and Amazon. So I can't speak exactly to what might happen with Congress, but we know that these regulators are really starting to aggressively go further into big tech firms for different reasons, and that there are both ongoing probes and possible ones for the future.